very special interview with somebody who have, we've always supported, felt very comforted with. Each time he sort of stood tall in our defense, protecting Indian defense from multiple attacks. And over the period of time, he's given us hope. He's given us, as I said, comfort. He's been resolute in the Indian defense. And now, time to quiz him as to what this means for Indian football, the participation in the Asian Games. Sandesh Jhingan, thank you very much for your time and welcome. Your first reaction, for 2 weeks almost, the country was sort of united behind all of you, wanted you all to travel to Hangzhou, and now finally we have that result. Your first thoughts?
Firstly, thanks for having me on the show and for the lovely introduction. I was really happy. I think first thought which just came to my mind right now when you were saying the words, how proud and how happy I was to see the whole country coming together for football. So that was something really appealed to me or gave me a lot of pride and happiness. And I think it was the work of a lot of people involved. Cannot forget, I remember when Ragafa Igor went openly and asked the ministries to look into it, how every YouTuber, every influencer, everyone who supports football, made their effort for this to happen. And our AFF as well, Kalyan sir, Shaji sir, everyone. So it was really good to see everyone came together for a common thing. Always beautiful as a name. So took this decision. So really happy, and this is just the first step. Now the real work is ahead of us. But I'm pretty confident, like always have been, in our team throughout all the batches, both boys, girls, men, women. So yeah, just looking forward to the tournament now, to be honest.
Yeah, Shaji was on my show exactly an hour before Sandesh, and I asked him that, can you please confirm to me that it's Sunil, Sandesh and Gurpreet who will travel with the team and leading the team? And he said, yes, of course, Coach T-Match will take the call, but the names have been submitted. So, 2018, we missed out. As a player and as a leading player, who is a leader in that dressing room, Sunil said the same to me in one of my shows, that you're a leader in that dressing room as well. How are you looking at the Asian Games as a player wearing that blue shirt?
Not just the Asian Games, it's just, since you mentioned the blue jersey, I think as a footballer, for me personally, it's the greatest honor for me, regardless if it's the Asian Games or it's a friendly. Every time I go in the pitch and make sure everyone around me goes to the pitch with only one thought, which is to win. And if it takes your blood or even it takes many broken bones, stitches, whatever, it doesn't matter. You gotta get the win, you gotta make your country proud. But when you come to prestigious tournaments like Asian Games, I think, of course, the stage is much more bigger. And as athletes, we need the bigger stage to shine the brightest. So I think it's beautiful to be there for anyone. 2014, we were there. My batch, Sunil Bhai was my senior even then. He went with us. So yeah, I remember my time from 2014. It was brilliant. Really a great atmosphere. Could have done better, no doubt about that. But no regrets. I will come a long way after that. Just to be in that, that tournament, more bigger tournaments you play, the more used you get to them, and then eventually, consciously, unconsciously, you don't realize it, but you improve a lot. The more bigger games you play, and eventually it will help the nation to grow as a footballing nation, and we get a few more steps closer to our ultimate dream, which is the World Cup.
I think you answered it very well there. I mean, sort of won the point about giving it your all and breaking bones if need be, talking about the biggest stages. In our country, we moved from one multi-discipline games to another and bigger tournaments like the World Cup. So clearly, huge 5-6 months coming up, and thereafter, of course, the World Cup qualifiers. From the SAF and before that the Intercontinental Cup, 2 questions, Sandesh. One specific to the Asian Games, you will have a team of under 24, and now it's no longer under 23, it's under 24. So you'll have a lot of youngsters to lead in Hangzhou. So thoughts on that, because Coach T-Match was very upbeat about our youngsters. And number 2, the World Cup qualifiers, all of a sudden there is tremendous hope. Pot 2, ranked 99, has not happened in some years. So your thoughts on that?
Firstly, about the Asian Games, I think one of the biggest advantage or I think the plus point is if you look at our squad right now, the senior national team, uh, if you see most of the boys are around that age bracket, so it's not that they're really, in that young thing, so they're very well matured. And I've said this before, like usually when you go in this, to give talks in school and colleges, and they ask like how you motivate the kids, when the younger boys come, especially if I talk about football. Uh, since I became 27, 28, and when this younger batch came in, the one thing I really noticed that they were really level-headed, they were really matured. They knew, because when you're on the pitch, is a very small part of it. You train few hours a day. The game is a tiny minute. So what really makes you who you are is what you are off the pitch. So when I noticed them boys, the way they rested, the way they smallest thing detail, like even how they drink water, how much they drink water, how much food they eat, what kind of food they eat, how they talk, how they. For me, the biggest thing which I always look in a player is how tactically sound he is in terms of football, in terms of formation, in terms of small details. So these boys, they're really well nurtured. With a lot of credit should go to the coaches whom we don't talk about now, but when they were under 13, 14, 16, 17, who all have nurtured them under the system of AFF growing up, I think they should get a lot of credit. So any player who does well in his 25, 26, everyone should thank the ones who were with him when he was 10, 12. So yeah, they all play the big game for the senior team, so they have that maturity in them, so it makes your job easier. And then it's just about being the right example. I still don't know if I'm going to be there or not. I still don't know about the list, but if I'll be there, I'll be really make your job easier because they're so mature and so level-headed. And to the second question about the World Cup qualifiers, we had a really good start in the last qualifiers as well. The first game, I will always have that scar on my face, I would say, for that game against Oman. I think we should have won it. But yeah, we lost first game. Then we had a good draw against Qatar away, and then we had Bangla and Afghan the next. And so then COVID happened, and so many things which was not under control happened. Not giving excuses, but we knew the potential of the squad even then, regardless of us was late. But we proved in the last 3-4 years how good we can be. Especially now we can see the fruits of it because we never had a longer camp. Finally, when we did have a longer camp, we showed how good we can be.
And let's stop you there. So you're actually telling me, because coach mentioned this, Sunil mentioned this, I asked Kalyan as well. Are you also advocating that you need a longer camp? Because will that help? Because Shrimatch was clear that if we get the boys for a longer time, we have the Asian Cup, we have the qualifiers. That's something he has repeatedly requested the AIFF. I understand the window issue. I understand all of that. But what would you advocate?
No, it's not that if everyone says it's always true or correct. You always, as how I look at things, is if even 1,000 people are saying one thing, but if I don't believe in it, I will never say it. Same goes, not that I'm saying it or Sunil Bhai saying or the boss is saying doesn't mean it's correct, but as a neutral, if you weigh everything, to weigh the situation, since we came, 2019, then the COVID thing happened and all, we never had a longer camp. Regardless, we were still doing good, but we never played at home. We never had a long camp, and our performance were like, could have been better because we know the potential. But then when we did have a longer camp, for example, the last year when we had this Asian Cup qualifiers, I think we really dominated our group when we had Hong Kong and the two other teams, Afghan and Cambodia. We showed how good we can be, and even now again, second time. I think last 4 years was my second time actually when I had a longer camp, and again we showed in the Intercontinental Cup how good we can be. Because you have to see that a lot of players come from different clubs. Needless to say, but I think sometimes people don't realize it. 10 months we are training with our clubs, different philosophies, because it's complete different atmosphere when it comes to club level football to national team. Club is like, cutthroat every day. Every week you're playing 2 games. Every game is different tactics. You have different players. There are owners involved as well. So you come from a different philosophy, different training system, and then if you expect us uh, within a day or two train and then go play Iran and Korea and bring the result, I'll still go in the game. We will still go in the game, to die for the country. But football doesn't work just purely on emotion. So for that, I personally advocate and always supported the longer camp because you can see the statistics, you can see the result of it when we did have the long camp only twice in last 4 years, and we dominated all the three tournaments, be it the last year qualifiers or these tournaments. So for a neutral, just to see them stats or just to see them results, that pleases people. I think it's common sense that the longer camp is helpful for us.
Yeah, and I just want to make it clear. I mean, I'm not in this for any controversy. I was just asking the question as a follower and supporter of Indian football, and that's what you answered. Teams like Croatia, worldwide, I mean, 4-week camp, whether it's in Iran, Saudi Arabia, Japan, we've seen longer camps and the benefit of longer camps. So that's what it is. Two final questions before I let you go. One, of course, has to be on Sunil Chhetri. I mean, Sunil keeps telling me Sandesh is the leader in the dressing room. He's basically Gurpreet and Sandesh are the link between the younger guys and me. And, he keeps talking about you in the dressing room. A word on Sunil Chhetri and the bond that the two of you have?
No, I always find words, I feel, for every person, every situation. But there are some people in your life you meet, you always struggle to make a sentence if someone asks you to describe them or how much respect you have, because he's one of them players from his batch whom I saw. I grew up watching, and it made me, like I said many times, my biggest dream in football was to represent the country, not the club level, not just how when you're kids, you dream of playing the big game. For me, it was just to play for the country because I saw that, and I still remember the whole playing 11, the whole bench and the coaching staff. I knew everything. Even now, I remember it. So to see them, having them as your, you get cut there. In that time, that on the newspaper, the clipping would come. You would, celebrating. You would just cut it out and keep with you. So from those days to start playing with them regularly in the national team and to be there and sing the national anthem, it is brilliant. And what he has done for the game in this country, I think I also have this one philosophy: every 100 years there's one great man born. In every field that I think Sunil Bhai is to Indian football for this 100 years. I think God chose him. So
lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. I mean, some fantastic words. Fantastic words. Last question. You've been around for a pretty long time now. I mean, in that sense, you've seen Indian football evolve over the last decade or so. Is this the best that we've had in a while? Fitness-wise, yes. Sports science, yes. Coach, the team, the bonding, the unity behind the team, the fans, the fervor, AIFF trying to be professional. Is this the best momentum that we have had for our football in a long time? Am I right in saying that?
Depends person to person how you look at it. For me, how I look at success of any team, any organization, or any family also in that regard, how I look or judge, or how would I describe an organization, the path which we are taking is always on. So success for me basically is consistency and longevity. Since I've made my debut in 2015, I've been part of the national team in 2013, but since I really got into the team after 2015, I've seen that growth at consistent level, which gives me a lot of pride because I've been part of this journey from the day one. Since I made my debut from 174, I think 175 we were when I made my debut. The graph has always gone up. It has a gradual, consistent growth into it, and its longevity as well. Because from 175 to being 90, the regular 2 Asia Cups together, qualifying for it. Our junior boys and girls doing tremendously well. Mumbai, for example, last did really well. Cup getting better, the league getting better. So when you see the whole nation growing together, I think that gives me more of a pride. And the credit, it would be very selfish of me if I would say, yes, this is the best batch this is the best momentum. That's why I don't like to single out a single event or one particular batch, because consciously or unconsciously, the ones who were there in 2015, 16, 17, everyone has put their seed in this tree. So that, and even we are doing the same, we're just watering the tree or planting the tree, putting the seed. So growth is consistent and is for a longer. Consistency and longevity is what we always focus on. I personally focus on that. What really success is in my terms. And if you say this, coming back to that statement you made, this is the best momentum and all, this is the best graph. It's just going up. So that's how would I like to describe it.
I think I'll leave it there. I mean, my takeaway from this is optimism. My takeaway from this is hope. You mentioned process, you mentioned consistent growth. You mentioned the journey from 170 odd to 99. And as an Indian football analyst and scholar and fan, I would want that journey to continue. You've been a leader in that pack, in that journey, shaping our dreams, and will continue to do so. So more power to you, Sandesh Jhingan. More power to everyone associated with this wave that we are currently seeing in India. We just hope that we can collectively take this growth story forward. Thank you very, very much for your time. I know you've trained just now. I know you've had, you have a family and a young child. So I appreciate it that much more. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. And just to end it, since you mentioned, I love this statement, we need to go collectively. Now the whole buzz, the whole success story, again, it would be very selfish if you would just say just the players or the management. It's because the whole country has given everyone, even you, the fans, everyone. The country can only grow as a nation in terms of football when we'll all chip in together, which we are doing right now. So actually the whole country, and let's, like how you said, continue to grow collectively. I think that's the biggest takeaway. And yeah, thank you so much. Now I gotta do my father duties because he'll wake up in some time. So I gotta go in now.
Yeah, I did it some years back. Enjoy because they grow too fast. I've got a 10-year-old now. In fact, a 9-year-old now, and I know how it was. So enjoy these moments. Thanks very much once again. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you.